want you to come in close. Right? It's over. It's over. Fuck you, Ellen Elise. This is all your fault. I don't blame Roxy for this. I blame you, Ellen Elise. This is all your fault, damn it. Dead. Dead. Fucking hell, bro. Fucking hell. Fuck this show. All right. Dead. Dead. We need this anymore. Dead. 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 All right. Dead. I'm a selfie simp through and through. Okay. Oh fuck! I left my mouse over there. I had to start the stream with the mouse. All right. I forgot I left the stream with the mouse. All right, let me. I was wondering how to start the stream, and I realized I had a Roxy prop. Now, I was initially thinking about throwing the original box at it, or like close. Oh fuck, that's me. I had the stream on one of my tabs. Damn it. Okay. All right. Well. Yeah. This episode was good. This episode was good. Don't get it twisted. Yeah. You know, this figure was $200, so forgive me as I check on it. I know I threw a pillow at it. I was originally thinking about throwing a box at it, but let me see here. Like, I was initially thinking about throwing this box at it, and then I thought, nah, I'd probably get scratched or something. This was the closest I could come up with. And don't worry, the stand was already broken. The stand was already broken before the stream happened. So that's not a shocker. All right. After the nigh perfection that was parents, it was inevitable that it would take us a bit of a step back, but it felt so watered down in my opinion. All right. I'm gonna say this right now. I don't think the anime did any worse of a job than it could have gone. I feel like this is probably like the best situation that was possible for adapting the scene, at least. And someone mentioned in the chat, like before the stream even happened, watch Jack give an episode a 4 out of 10 because it didn't include the detail where Roxy actually twirled 74 strands of hair in the light novel, and it wasn't specified in the anime. Yeah, I am very nitpicky when it comes to stuff like this. I know how I could come across when it seems like, oh man, they didn't do it the same in the light novel, or they didn't do it the same as in the light novel, or whatever. I honestly think it couldn't have gone any better for adapting this scene. Maybe a music choice here and there felt a bit off, but basically, to me, it didn't capture the same emotions as it did when I initially read it. But again, that's because witnessing the story for the first time. Overall, I thought the episode overall was pretty decent. I don't think it was nearly as good as last episode. I wouldn't even say it's as good as the episode before, but I think it was still pretty good. Skipping the bar scene is criminal. I don't think it's that criminal. All right, like, let's chill out here, okay? I don't think it's that bad. I thought this episode was pretty decent. I don't think it's as good as the last 2 episodes, but it's definitely better than the one before that. I'll let you guys know that. Fucking hell. Some random ass number. Okay. I need to get this thing out of here. Give me a second. Fucking hell. Good thing it wasn't a number I knew. Anyway, you probably didn't hear that. This mic's pretty good at isolating sound, but whatever. No sex scene 0 out of 10. That's as far as you're gonna get in Mushoku Tensei. Okay, actually no, correction. The the fucking bath scene was the closest you're gonna get, but um, no pregnant bae, no Rudy's fake story. They cut the after sex talk. They cut the after sex talk. That's one of the most unforgivable and can't understand the choice either. I thought they had everything in there. I thought they had everything in there. Let me check. Are you talking about like the when they reference the when Rudius references past life? I felt like they alluded to his past life enough. Yeah, yeah. The freaking I felt like he kind of alluded to it before all that stuff happened. I'm gonna up the brightness on this light a little bit so that when I step back here, it's fine. I felt like they referenced it a decent bit before they had that stuff, but not to an insane degree. Uh, I I'm starting to think that the author intervened in the inclusion of that scene and told them no. If I had to guess, because it seemed like a pretty important scene, right? And I think it's more of a writer's choice on whether or not to include that. And I feel like he probably doesn't want to. He wants these two lives to be completely separate. But that is part of the coping mechanism. Going through that whole what if scenario with Roxy was kind of helped with the coping mechanism with the uh his treatment of his current family. That is very strange though. They did not include the talk about him not treating Paul like as if it's like his actual family in his current in like his new life, you know. That was weird. This pill is going to collect dust. I'm looking at it right now. This pill is going to collect dust. Let me fucking hell. When you miss your own chair. I felt like I felt like they definitely held back a bit when it comes to the dialogue with Roxy. And I definitely, as a result, I feel like the Selfie romance was done a lot better. Like in the light novels, I can say this without any bias because like this contrasts my bias in terms of just being a Selfie simp. But I feel like in the light novel, the Roxy romance was done a lot better than the Selfie romance, and I don't feel like that's the case here. I felt like you don't need to adapt the scene one for one, but you do need to get across the same message. And I don't feel like they got the same message across with this anime. I feel like they missed the point of Rudius not really appreciating family or not even treating his family like his actual family. Because again, it's his second life. He's been through this shit before. It's kind of like a lackadaisical, not appreciating the moment sort of deal. And now it's too late for him to realize that, which they did cover that part, but I don't think they covered like the reincarnation bit. But let me check here. All right, comments sway my opinion. Let me see here. After 9%, nope, I already read that. Nope, already read that. The anime doesn't copy and paste every single line of the light novel. 0 out of 10, completely unwatchable. True. I felt like the episode was good, but I felt like they didn't get the same vibes across, and I feel like that's a writer's choice. So I'm not gonna dog on it for that, but I don't feel like it hit nearly as many like it didn't hit me in the feels nearly as much as the light novel did, which is odd. They talked about it more in the additional scenes, but I think the after talk of him referencing and Roxy answering it was the whole point of the sex scene. As a Roxy even I have to admit the anime does Selfie better. Yeah, I can agree with that. Failed to generate any emotion from Paul's death. I feel like it has to do with us just not watching the show second and then I feel like it mostly has to do with us witnessing the story for the first time in the novel, and that's why it doesn't feel as emotional, if I had to guess. But I really don't think it's that bad. Uh, failed to I'm being generous here. I'm being generous here because of the fact that I already knew it was gonna happen. Um, hated this episode on my first watching. It was all right. I don't think it was. You reached the high of highs with the last episode. Like, you're gonna be disappointed. You reached the high of highs with the last episode. Uh, Light novel readers want the show to be 50% internal monologue and get mad when. Yeah, I know doing internal monologue in an anime just isn't a thing. Isn't really a good thing to adapt either. Like, not to the same level as a book. Like, that's insane. Like, you try to do that and you'll turn into a ReZero sort of situation where dialogue scenes become like 10 times longer and you are referencing the same point over and over and over again, and it feels a lot more drawn out, just like the stream. But it's very bad. It's very bad if you decide to adapt this whole thing one for one. But I feel like, again, the themes that they got across in the light novel was a lot more impactful than the themes that they got across here. I felt like they were different. I feel like they were different. Um, not best romance in a light novel and was between Doghead. Oh my gosh, you freaking fucking redundancy fan over here. Yeah. For those of you anime onlys, don't worry about that comment. Orange Panda's comment. It's just two characters that haven't been introduced yet. Don't be confused. Or well, one character that hasn't been introduced yet. Rudy says about Paul need more longer though. What the fuck? But anyways, probably keep it quiet for next episode. Yeah, I feel like this entire thing kind of have to wait out maybe, but the I feel like the coping episode was this episode, right? So if they were going to don't comment the spoilers, you freaking no, I'm gonna delete it. I'm gonna delete it. I'm gonna delete it. I'm going to delete it, bro. Don't mention anything. Anyway, I had to be cautious there. I'm my own moderator, okay? Uh Rudy says, well, no, I already read that. What they added, I think, was actually pretty good in my opinion. Like Annalise saying that saying was Zenith miserable when Paul took Lily as a second wife, and Rudy touching Paul's sword and saying, "I guess we are alike." I mean, yeah, but I thought that was like a given. I mean, I guess you can include that, but those two are nice touches if they weren't in the light novel. Again, I haven't read the chapter. But yeah, this is like adding those scenes if they weren't already in the light novel. I guess a good touch, but that's like 2 seconds. It's like 5 seconds. I mean, it's okay. You can add it. It's just I don't know. It just felt off. I don't know. This episode felt a little off. Succession. I'll get to that in a sec. Skipping the Rudy is telling he is from another world is criminal. It was a what if scenario, number one. And Roxy didn't fully understand it either. And number two, it was the main complaint I have is that the messaging is different. The delivery of this theme of not appreciating what you have is different when you include I feel like it's all the more devastating when you have that reincarnation bit mentioned. And I don't feel like they really touched on it all that much. And this is like a fantasy show. You explore stupid what if scenarios like that. You explore stupid fantasy shit like that. That's what's common. 50% internal monologue would be tension. No. Need the graveyard scene ending in the next. That'll happen. You'll get your graveyard scene. Damn it. I don't need Rudy married Roxy. It's. I don't think Rudy married Roxy is necessary. Oh yeah, I should probably talk about not just comparing the light novel. I should probably talk about the story point in general. I'll get to that. Yeah, Selfie or Selfie. I gotta go through this quick. Selfie grandma shows Roxy and Rudy is necessary. In theory, the idea is interesting. Is interesting, but it was done bad. It'd be cool if we end the season as Roddy visit Paul. Yeah, that's what's gonna happen. Why did they chose Succession in the title for next episode? You know what should have been the title. No. In case it isn't obvious, his kid's gonna be born. Okay, it's very obvious based on the title, and I feel like that's a decent freaking episode title. For that, I feel like it's fine. What are your thoughts on the anime skipping Roxy's reactions to Rudy's being already made? That is true. They did skip that, didn't they? That is true. I need to get to talking about the actual plot point in general, because I haven't actually voiced my complaints on this plot point yet, or at least I complained about it in passing. Let me all chat. I feel like it skipped a few. This whole thing skipped. Sag, all the subtle moves done by Ellen Elise is not shown in the anime. Subtlety, like that's a book's job. If you make it too subtle, there's gonna be things that you don't pick up on in the anime, at least. Like don't it's fine. There are a few things that they should have added, but overall the episode was okay. It wasn't great. Next episode should have been called Before Is Great. Whatever. Man, what the fuck happened to Body Guy? I can complain. Yeah, I know. That's another plot point that happened in both, or not really both. It was done worse in the anime, but I also felt like it was a shame in the light novel. But anyway, fucking hell, you guys keep chatting. Shit, dude, I need to keep up. Disappointing they cut multiple necessary conversations. Even when she does a Roxy might be pregnant move. Rudy is done. He's cooked. Okay. Back to the freaking actual plot, the story elements. I do not like the choice of having Rudy as having multiple wives. I mean, I feel like it's pretty obvious that Selfie's going to say yes to this and is going to allow this whole thing to happen. I do not like this story element. I feel like it is a cop-out and a half. I feel like it's such a cop-out. I feel like he didn't want to. I feel like the original author didn't want to make people upset. I feel like that's like the vibe I get when Rudy marries multiple women and not just make them friends or whatever. I feel like that's an extreme cop out, and he kind of delves a little into the self-insert genre a bit with this decision. I don't like it. I don't like it. Now, is it good for like the story overall in general once we get to like later volumes? I guess, but you don't need to have them married. Like, I guess with like, spoiler alert, their kids, I guess they're important. But like, do you need to make those kids involved with the future of this story? You couldn't have Sylphie's kid be the, or better yet, how about if you really need Roxy to be the person he marries, why not have Sylphie not be the person he marries to? But then you have the whole like ED storyline like screwed up a bit. You're kind of thrown in for a loop here, but with how he sets up the story and later on. But overall, like the prodigy children or whatever that Rudy has later, it's not really that much of a spoiler. Like, spoiler alert, he has powerful children. Great. The sort of prodigy children that he has later, does it have to be with Roxy's like kids? Like, it doesn't. It's fate. Stop. That's a concept that the writer inserted into here. Okay, I feel like with him including the freaking like these multiple marriages, I feel like it's a self insert and a cop out, and he's not willing to have strong female characters that are just friends. I feel like that's this whole situation here. It's not like well written, well defined characters that aren't just that isn't just like a friend. Like can't you just have like a dedicated like can't you have like dedicated chapters and dedicated volumes for female characters that just aren't married to the protagonist? Can we just have that? Like, it doesn't have to be like this whole thing where like I don't like it. I feel like again, it's a cop out. It feels like a cop out. I don't like it. Is it because I'm a Selfie simp? No. If ultimately Rudy decides to marry like Roxy or Selfie, I feel like it wouldn't feel much of a cop out if he only chose one. Either way. It I don't know, man. It's rough. It's rough. But ultimately it doesn't impact the story. It doesn't impact the story that much, like this decision overall. I guess it really impacts like them off being close together pretty often. In that sense, okay. But I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. All harem stories involve the guy not actually banging any of the girls. He wanted to break that and have the MC breed all the way. Why couldn't he just uh, that that statement right there feels like a self-insert trope. I feel like that statement is a freaking cop out. I feel like it's a cop out because you spend all this time dedicating your writing to defining these characters, and you don't want to. You why don't you just want to have them be friends? It doesn't make much sense to me. Um, the light novel gave me the impression that Rudy didn't want to have multiple wives. He just got baited by Ellen Elise's lie. That is true. Okay, in both I'm kind of glad that this flaw shined a bit through the anime, but he kind of was manipulated to marrying Roxy by Ellen Elise. It was more like oh, feel bad for Roxy, you gotta marry him. Like, I'm glad that that freaking mistake shined through so anime onlys would understand my complaint there. It's such a forced freaking dude. Like I don't like it. There's a lot. There's a lot to freaking unpack with this decision. We have one Ellen Elise manipulating Rudius into marrying Roxy because woe is me. With the Roxy, it's like woe is me. Feel bad for me. I'm not gonna recover from this whole thing if we are separated or whatever. It's like, sure, get over it. I don't feel like she's gonna recover from this. Yeah, she will. She will. Stop it. And so that one, two, the self-insert trope really shines through here with the multiple wives trope in anime. It's bad. I wish it was a little based and decided, you know what? Let's spend all this time writing this character and ultimately cucking her. Can we just decide that? Can we? Nope. Okay, fine. Um and it's tough. It's tough. And he establishes the context of Paul already doing it to make Rudy feel like all right doing it, but it's tough. The ED could have been cured in this episode if he wasn't with Selfie. Yeah, they just explained its fate. Again, like, yeah, I don't like it. That's just the fate plot line is just inserted in by the writer to kind of just have these tropes exist, or kind of have some things just happen by chance, and I guess that's fine, but again, cop out. We know the author's favorite character when someone's kid became the chosen one. Yeah. The writer's favorite character is Roxy. Like, that's his like waifu of the main cast. That's his what. That's like his favorite female character in the show. And it sucks. And I feel like that is he's forcing this marriage hard. He's forcing it. I'm going to skip a few comments here. Yeah, the Fate stuff that carried on from the volume 14 to 15 seemed kind of like a cop out, but it's basically the main plot point of the series. Yeah. Wife number 2 acquired. Yeah. Overall rate this episode 7. It was good. It was good. It was pretty solid. I've heard the episode was outsourced. Probably the reason why they missed out on a lot of stuff, like Rudy is taking the initiative. This episode kind of blames it on Roxy. I feel like it was that same vibe in the light novel. Was I not mistaken? And I felt like it could have been fixed. Sure, I felt like it was kind of a. It felt like Ellen Elise freaking initiated this entire thing. And Rudius was just going through the motions. And he didn't take long to contemplate about Sylphie's feelings on this. It literally took a few minutes for him to decide. It's like, I know about Sylphie being included in this. I'll talk about it. I'll talk to her about that later. It's like, shouldn't you like think about that? Like, shouldn't you mention like Sylphie's involvement in the decision like before asking Roxy? Whatever. It's very weird. This whole thing was weird. It was weird in the light novel and it was weird in the anime. You gotta be real. Not that many anime had the balls to actually give the main guy multiple wives. Most are just in a sticky relationship that are not confirmed. Most anime don't have marriages in general. I don't know what you're talking about. And I feel like that it will be decades until we see a freaking main, like a popular show go through like a marriage and then have another love interest introduced, and ultimately the main character rejecting that because of the fact that he's already married. Like, that's like that. I don't think we'll ever see that in anime because of the fact that you gotta pander to your audience a bit. And I feel like he kind of got into that a bit. He kind of got stuck into that a bit. Fate just works for Roxy. Yep, true. Kind of mad they left a lot of stuff. Left out a lot of stuff they had no time to. I don't. I feel like you could have gotten the same messaging out in the same amount of time. I don't feel like you need to like include every single scene, including the reincarnation bit. I don't feel like you need to include that in order to I don't feel like you need to include that confession with Roxy or that what if scenario. Basically, he admitted that he was reincarnated at some point, but it was sort of introduced to Roxy in a what if scenario. It's like, what if this happened to me and I didn't really appreciate my family in the second life? What if then? Like, what should I do? Sort of deal. That does not need to be included in order to get the same vibes across that he did not appreciate his family in the moment because of the fact, and he did it twice. The fact that he did it twice makes it all the more hurtful. And I don't feel like he needs to say that out loud. But I don't feel like they delivered on that point. I feel like it was a lot of assuming in order to get that. A lot of the viewer needs to assume a lot and analyze the show a lot more to get that message across. And I feel like in that sense it was kind of tough. It was kind of tough to see that whole it was kind of tough to see that whole thing, that whole Roxy sex scene, I guess, and everything before then be delivered very briefly, sure, but that's not the main thing. The main thing was that they just got the point across that he didn't really appreciate his family and felt fake. His entire relationship with Paul felt fake. And he acted like, why do you love like a fake person like me? Why couldn't you do this for someone like Aisha or Norn? And I feel like they'll get into why he sacrificed and Paul sacrificed himself for Rudius in the next episode. I feel like that'll be delivered well, especially with like the child's birth in the next episode. Spoiler, I mean, the next episode's called Succession. I'm pretty sure you anime onlys would understand that the childbirth is in the next episode. But I feel like they'll get that point across once Rudy becomes a dad and he'll start to understand that feeling. But that's an assumption, and right now I got to analyze the moment in the episode in the moment. And right now that message hasn't been delivered well. And I feel like there's a lot missing with this death, with Paul's death, and Rudy's analysis of it. And whether they want to deliver a different message, with this anime adaptation, that's fine. But I feel like it was a lot more emotional. It felt a lot more emotional when he was saying that he felt like he disappointed two sets of parents instead of just one, analyzing his past life as well as his current life. And he did that a little bit, but that message didn't get across, at least for me. In the light novel, Roxy sleeping with Rudy was the last option because he wouldn't do anything to go outside to eat. That wasn't delivered well, sure. It was like it was like a few minutes, and it feels a lot more drawn out. I think it got across. Okay, I don't feel like it did, but maybe it did. Maybe it did for normal anime onlys, but I feel like it didn't for me. Thank you for reminding me the new episode came out again. Oh my gosh, dude! I told you what time it comes out, dude. Jeez, man, who speaks in cubes. Jeez, I've told you like I already replied to your comment. Sundays, 8:30 PST. Pacific Standard Time. That's when these episodes air. Main character gets married and gets a new love interest, but rejects her. Gets like, no, she would be interested in him. He wouldn't be interested in her because of the fact that he already has someone. That's like the thing I'm trying to like say. Like that will never like really get across. Every time they do it in anime, the main character always has to have like feelings towards that. But I feel like they got it a little bit across in Horimiya, a little bit, but not really. Same thing with like Bunny Girl Senpai, a little bit, but it was never really stressed out on. Let me see. I think that Mushoku Tensei needs more episodes for the content each novel to have. I don't think so. I feel like you could do it a lot. You could do. You'll get into the trap of ReZero having super, like ReZero did with having super long monologue scenes that do not need to be there. Yeah, in light novel, Rudy didn't actually admit he reincarnated. It was just a what if scenario about himself. He felt like imposter syndrome. Yeah. Just cut the ending song part, more context. It just cut the ending song. You understand, like, anime takes time to produce, and like this will require resources and time to dedicate, and more staff and more late night hours to adapt parts of the episode. Filling in that ending slot, it's tough to do that. So to say just do that, yeah, no. uh they dropped the ball this episode. Yeah, a little bit. It was still all right. I don't think the fat baby will be born next episode. We'll just give Paul's feelings to Aisha and Norn and whatever. I think it got across. Finish the episode. Worst episode of Mushoku. Jeez, I wouldn't say that. This episode felt so weird and I can't describe it. 6 out of 10. That convo with Roxy about his parents and Ellen Elise's line about how she knows Roxy's longer than I don't. This episode was good. I can't wait for Norn to call out Roxy and he is on their BS. True, but we really should be called out is Ellen Elise. Damn it, she ruined everything. This bitch does not deserve it. Oh no, I feel so sorry for you. It's time to marry your second wife. Bro, what? It's so weird. To be fair, we do see Rudius's head get kind of skinnier. Visuals, yes, it was delivered, but I feel like it doesn't get across how down bad he was. And I'm glad they still showed the fact that he was still depressed even after that moment. It's not like, oh, I feel all better sort of deal. It wasn't until like him like trying like announcing a marriage to Roxy or like proposing that it actually like came across like he's actually feels a little bit better now. It wasn't until then that he actually looked like he was all right, but his the how bad he felt in that moment, it that those emotions really got across in the previous episode, and the previous episode did it a lot better with visuals than this episode did. Whether that's because of the animation talent or the direction talent, that's to be debated. But I feel like that got across better in the previous episode, and combine that with this episode, maybe it delivers. Maybe it delivers on that, and the fact that he was down bad enough to actually have sex with another woman, despite the fact that he's married. Maybe with that combo and watching those episodes back to back will help. But right now, it's tough. Uh. Having last episode and this back to back gave me whiplash. Quality difference was insane. Damn. Okay. Oh, makes sense. I won't spoil it for you. This feels like a Therese and a skip and Zenith POV skip. Just a totally different experience and characterization from the light novel in the way that I don't like. You could skip a few scenes like that. It's not necessary, but yeah, I understand what you mean. I get it's tough, but to be fair, they did do it in the past. What are you talking about? They did do it in the past. I'm looking forward to Norn's reaction when they get back home. Yeah, that will be that will be a treat. That will be a treat. I will be very happy to see a child cry in front of Rudius for multiple reasons. Because basically Selfie is basically the mother figure for Norn right now. 100%, it's not even close. Because she doesn't even remember Zenith. She doesn't even remember. Like, it's tough. It's tough out here. But 100%, like, Paul's death is gonna make her sad, and then she's gonna get mad about the fact that Rudy married Roxy, and that's tough. And she's gonna be very confused. And she's a Millis believer. So tough. So tough. That's tough. It's tough out here. Uh, I think Roxy expressing her feelings about Rudy's family came across in the anime. Yeah, that did. That did. I'm not debating that. If you're debating someone else in the chat about that point, yeah, that point got across just fine. Uh, she said it outright. Like I don't know how that's even debatable. Roxy had Rudy had post nut clarity. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. He was still depressed, one, and he was still horny enough to consider proposing to Roxy, which is post nut clarity's not there, bro. I don't know what to say. Also, in my opinion, the anime definitely focused on how he looked malnourished. Yeah, that was true. Rudy was sexually assaulted by Roxy. Lol. He was, wasn't he? Damn it, dude. That's even worse. Damn, you're right. Shit. She knew coming in that he was married. Holy shit. Oh, he's not gonna feel better if I don't do this. Try like talking to him a bit more. All right, fine. Uh, I like the the generic 3 episode. What is it? The generic first 3 episodes. Then this episode where it just felt gross. Like Rudius is from Earth, so he shouldn't be okay with treating. True, dude. True. Roxy Trucko was peak. Jeez. Uh, me waiting to see how many people are gonna drop the show after this episode. I don't think many people will drop it. Some people will, but I don't blame him for having dropping it for cop outs like this, but because this will happen again, but not to this degree, I don't think. Did you see Refusion's tweet about this? It was quite interesting. I did not see it. I will need to pull it up though. We can pull it up together. Let me look. Actually, let me pull it up. Said it was a tweet. Okay. Likes are private. Yeah, I don't care. Refugian. Yep, that's him. Time to translate this. All right. Let's read this. Browser. This is it. All right. Here we go. Let's zoom in. Even in script writing meetings, I was always thinking about how to make the story more popular, and I think that I would have become a difficult writer because of my ego, which is something that an original author should not be thinking about. I am full of gratitude and regret the people who participated in script writing meetings. What? Think I would have become a difficult writer because of my ego. I was always thinking about how to make the story more popular. Is this not enough evidence that this whole thing was a cop out? Is this not enough? Maybe a bit later. What about this? Oh, it was a two-parter. It was a two-parter. My bad. Although stories like last week's were shocking, they're common, so I can calmly accept them. But stories like this one, knowing that there will be a certain number of people who can't accept them, makes me think about how to make more people accept them, and it makes my stomach churn. I don't feel like having Ellen Elise force the situation on Rudius really helps, dude. You want to make it more acceptable to people. I don't think he realizes that like having a character like convince someone to marry Roxy is like a good idea when it comes to that. But whatever, it's tough. I don't. What is this? I'm sorry for saying what I wanted to say and getting my way. So I have a hard time understanding why people would use the words like I coward. Or, okay. Now he's talking about the caving sort of deal. Okay. He fully knows my complaint here. I feel like it's a cop out and you just trying to appease the Roxy simps at this one. It feels fan servicey a little bit. Rudy totally got graped, similar to Eris. You're coping Lamau. He absolutely did have post nut clarity. Probably did, yeah, but like not to the point where like every problem was solved. That's what I meant. That whole convo about his past life and the what if scenario talk about his parents was total post nut clarity stuff. True. Did it come across in the anime? I'm not judging the light novel. I'm judging the anime here. And to me, it's like, whatever. It's not really post nut clarity, but it was definitely a clarity moment after the proposal. This is why Selfie's best girl, Eris and Roxy took advantage of whatever. You all failed to consider he was sexually assaulted by basically all of his love interests. Eris, Selfie at 100% less so. She asked for like permission to like have sex like before this whole thing, and she knew like that was a thing that he wanted, a problem that he wanted to solve, and Rudy initially came on to her, and he felt like he disappointed her because of that, and it wasn't that. But I don't think she expressed that it was that aphrodisiac. Okay, the aphrodisiac was supposed to help with the scenario, but she knew 100% that they wanted to do it at some point. So spiking the drink and Roxy well self-explanatory. Yeah. All things considered, I think that they did this episode pretty well. Some parts were rewritten, which I think were for the better of the whole. On the whole, less flack for Rudy and Ellen Elise. I feel like Ellen Elise is still at fault here and still kind of an asshole, but whatever. Like it's your own granddaughter, dude. Whatever. Not gonna lie, even as a light novel reader, I can't even defend Roxy's actions. What is this? True. What is this? What is this? True. Let's translate the post here. Just for people dropping in. Even though I read the light novel, I'm having a hard time to watch the latest episode. True, I was cringing during some of it. I was cringing hard. Yeah, this episode was hard to watch. I do think the next episode is going to be far better since there's actual opposition to this decision, unlike this episode where everyone is okay with cheating. True. How much was cut? A decent bit. Yeah, this. I did not like how Rudy's didn't have that argument with Liz this episode. Yeah. It was a lot more of a debate in the light novel. It was a lot more of a debate with Ellen Elise in the light novel. And to hear it definitely was just like, oh, you gotta do this, and it's just like a more like, okay, I'll do it. Okay, I'll propose. You gotta propose. It's like, okay, I'll propose. That's basically how quick it felt and how it came across. It's tough. It's tough out here. My headphones turned off. She pretty much manipulated Rudy, who tried, I say tried in Rudy terms, to true, to be faithful to your granddaughter. Like, ugh, I wish we just had 10 more minutes of screen time. You say that, and you'll constantly be asking for 10 extra minutes, and at that point, it'll be bad. It'll be bad for the animators and production in general. So I would not be down for that. Do you think the anime has been? Oh, I'm skipping this giant one here. Man, fuck Rudy's for cheating on Selfie. To me, this ruins his character development. Yeah, I can understand. That take. It's infuriating since the vast majority of people will just watch the anime and not touch the light novels. I felt like the same, like, the same controversial points came across in the anime. And I am baffled by the fact that the original author tried to write this episode as if like more people would be able to accept it. I felt like the same like controversial points were still in this freaking episode, and he didn't shy away from it. So in that sense, I feel like he's doubling down in this episode. Just some emotional bits didn't come across that well. And I it's tough. I don't like this decision. The author's a weirdo, that's why. True, he is a weirdo. Someone had a really big comment here. The narrative going forward is pushed due to Roxy and Rudy's relationship. The man god wanted Rudy to be with Selfie, so pushed him to college and not say his mom, gave Rudy motivation in the future. Okay. Do you think the anime has been doing a good job adapting the light novel or nah? Just joined the stream, by the way, and just know you're a light novel reader. I feel like overall, I feel like there are a few emotional bits missed with the anime adaptation. A few, and some of those are pretty important. But overall, the anime adaptation hits a lot of the points that the light novel touches on. But like this episode, and like many people talk about this episode, there are a few points that are missed. Like, Rudy is talking about the what if scenario of him being reincarnated into another world and him not appreciating his parents both times and not being able to like really grow acquainted with him, and him being sort of feeling sort of fake with his relationship with Paul, and him not feeling worthy of that. Like it came across in the anime, but the fact that he failed twice wasn't really stressed out on. Kind of was in the beginning, but not really. And him talking that out with Roxy really helped with him coping with the whole situation. And that part was skipped, and that part was it's moments like this that the anime occasionally misses, but they're big points. And if you want to skip them, sure, but I feel like you have to get the same like amount of relief come across in the anime. And I don't feel like that was the case. And I feel like as a result, his decision to propose to Roxy felt rushed, and he felt manipulated into doing so. And the fact that he didn't debate with Annalise is a big freaking deal when it comes to just him cheating in general. It feels like it with his interaction with Roxy after them having sex with the what if scenario, it felt like you started to understand why he was down bad enough to cheat on Selfie. It's a lot more understandable. It's not supposed to be a self-insert anime. This Rudy is his own character. He's a dick and an asshole sometimes, and he's a bad person sometimes. But he's an understandable character, and I don't feel like that understandability really came across it didn't really click with the anime adaptation as a result of them not including the same vibes, at least, that came across with that light novel scene. You don't need to do it in the same way, but you do need to get that some sort of relief factor and him down bad enough beforehand, which I think they kind of did, but not as well. There's a lot of comments I'm gonna skip to near the end here. To be fair, Roxy, if Rudy didn't want to be with Roxy because he respects her way too much, but people around him said it's okay to have multiple wives. Okay. Yeah, when I watched the episode, I wish that was more fleshed out and implied. Thanks for answering. Just worried since I'm an anime only and have always been hearing about missed details. Yeah, it's stuff like that that really comes across when in terms of like missing quality. Yeah, that stuff is par for the course with races, and okay, that's a reply to another person. I mean, to be honest, my mind, it in my mind, it was manipulative even in the line. Yeah, 100%. It felt like that, but it kind of felt worse in here. uh, you know, Eleanor's pregnancy lie. Okay. True. Okay, I forgot about that. Freaking yeah, Eleanor's did mention that Roxy is probably pregnant, like during that freaking thing, which was weird because she wasn't. That doesn't bother me because I don't think, because I think it's a mute point that people in the West are sort of obsessed with this particular aspect. Cheating is very big here. Cheating is a very big deal here. So if it's not over anywhere else, like that's an absurd concept to me, but whatever. Uh the entire Western civilization are basically Millie's followers at this point. We are going to be just as upset as Norn and Cliff next episode. Just as upset. Uh Rudy in the sunrise saying he's like Paul looking happy. Why did they add that? He's supposed to be depressed until he gets home. I'm fine with that decision. I don't think it's that big of a deal. If they want to focus more on the childbirth next episode, I'm fine with that. But there are a few missing points here that they could stress out on later. But I feel like next episode is going to be focused more on the him have being a dad. Uh, it's more so a California thing. Is it? Like age of consent is 16 and mostly, but almost everyone agrees that it's 18, despite that fucking law being a technicality. Okay, whatever, dude. I'm not gonna debate this with you. I'm not gonna debate this with you. Holy shit. Okay. Um, that is a freaking red flag and a half. Whatever. Bro, all my friends say that Roxy didn't rape her, and they are Roxyite. But now I know she definitely raped him. Bro was leaving, and she just put herself on him. True. Roxy God, bro. Oh my gosh. I just find cheating just stupid in general. Like, what is the point? True. America has very childish and goofy perspective on the world. True. The entire West ever heard of France and Italy? Um, do they not have? I thought Europe had very similar values in terms of cheating when it comes to this. Maybe not. Okay, whatever. I don't. I thought Europe had like a similar thing. Whatever. Maybe. Okay, that's just me being stupid. Maybe I don't know. Uh, as someone from America, fuck America. True, dude. True. Hey, chat. Rudy should not have gone. Damn. Okay. In the light novel, Ella's idea to have Roxy comfort Rudy. It's Ella's idea to. You mean Lilia? I forgot. There's also a bridge between Roxy and Selfie because she was strong in a relationship with both. It's crazy how that's just never brought up. Uh, okay. The reason why the age of consent is 18 in America is because they want women to. Oh my gosh. I don't want to turn this chat into this fucking hell pit, whatever. I'm gonna skip those. Oh fuck! What did I do? What did I do reading that comment? Fuck. Okay. All right, we're going down that route. Great. All right, let's go through the episode here. What did I turn my freaking comment section into? Damn it, bro. This fucking thing. We don't need to. Whatever. I want to get to this point here. I want to get to this point specifically here. Because he did stress on that a little bit here. He did stress on like him not appreciating his parents here. But like, should I have at least seen their dead faces? It's very much implied. It's very much implied. But because he didn't talk to Roxy about it, it didn't feel like he fully recovered from it, or at least like recovered enough to get out of the room at least. But yeah, let's move on. He didn't appreciate them though. Bro was mewing the entire time. What the fuck? Why are we talking about age consent, Mushoku Tensei? Oh my gosh, bro. Jeez. Oh, it's a thumbnail picture. Thumbnail picture, guys. Yeah. Like literally, what the hell is this? You're trying to not hold up, bro. Just always thinking about how to make the story more popular? Bro, what are you on about? Knowing that there will be a certain number of people who can't accept them, make me think about how to make more people accept them. Bro, you made it worse here, bro. You made it worse here. How the fuck? Fucking hell. More acceptable, whatever. More acceptable. I got the idea. I got the idea. This one, not including Ellen Elise talking, or like anyone else talking Roxy into this, makes her seem worse. Her not knowing about the Selfie relationship and not being reluctant during this moment makes it worse. Or not being reluctant beforehand makes it worse. Two, like, her being very sad and afterwards is understandable, yes. And then, but Ellen Elise saying, feel sorry for her, go propose to her because she won't recover. And Rudy not debating on it and just saying, yeah, okay, makes it worse and less acceptable. He doubled down. I don't know how this doesn't match with what I'm seeing here. I feel more emotion reading this true, but it's a book. You're gonna get that. And the visual medium doesn't do stuff like this justice. Complicated situations like this justice. I don't even think the light novel did it that well, to be honest. People have become so weak and fragile, having to change the story and make it so people can accept it. You don't need to change it, though. You made it worse. What I'm saying is your freaking goal. You failed at your goal here. You made it worse. If you want it to be more acceptable. He just wants his work to get out to more people. And I feel like this just... if you're trying to appeal to that crowd, that did not work. I feel like Star Wars is doing a better job at appealing to more people than you did with this decision. This was worse. This was worse than what you did in the light novel. I feel like he's talking about the pregnancy aspect. In that sense, I guess. In that sense, not including that is a good thing when you're trying to accomplish this goal of making it more acceptable to a larger audience. But literally they made Roxy seem worse. That makes Ellen Elise seem worse. Including the pregnancy bit makes it a bit more complicated, like in the moments. Like obviously we know later on she wasn't actually that, but whatever. But not including that is like not including these bits makes Roxy seem like a more like manipulative character. It's weird. They gotta change the director next season for God's sake. Oh my gosh. I thought the director this season would be like all right, but there are a lot of moments like this, especially in the second half, that just don't feel like they delivered in the same aspect. There are a lot of scenes that were done well. A lot of scenes that were done well. And overall this episode is decent. I'll lower my score to a 6 out of 10 instead of 7 out of 10. But damn, bro. Oh no. Okay. I see the comments coming out. Let's be honest, most anime onlys really only have Eris or Roxy, so they thought this would work. Yeah. I wonder how the Japanese audience say about this. Star Wars is trash. Star Wars is, oh my god, like that's really America fucking up shit. That's what happens when you try to appeal to too much people. Yeah, that is a prime example of being too pandering. That is the prime example. This does not feel like to the same extent, but I feel like if you made your source material more acceptable when you're trying to make the adaptation more acceptable, that is a worse failure than what Star Wars did. Star Wars is way more fucked up, but like this is like you tried to accomplish a goal and you only made it worse. Uh, the author's goal was to point out that it's okay to cheat, then that's a fucked up message. I don't think that's his intent. I feel like his intent is to like show the story of a certain character and to like show that like people are complicated and shit and make an interesting story out of it. I feel like that's what his goal was. He's very questionable at times though. This writer is very questionable at times, but I don't feel like that was his message. But it does come across like that, yeah. Uh What the fuck? Okay, I'm going to skip most of these messages. I see a lot of people arguing that this is polyamory. But correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't that only if someone in the relationships loves each other? Everyone in the relationship loves each other. So Roxy doesn't love Selfie. As a result, it's not. I thought it's polygamy that people are debating on. In that sense, it is because you're married to multiple people, but polyamory definition: practice of being romantically or sexually involved in more than one person with the knowledge and consent of all parties. Yeah, it seems like you were mistaken. That is 100% what this is. Well, we don't know until Sylphie accepts it, but we all know. We all know she will. Um, but yeah. Um, try to appease everyone. You appease no one. Oh, you're an Orsted believer. Ah, yes. Orsted best girl. Uh, worse for us as a worse for us the novel readers, I guess. I don't like the adaptation of this episode at all. That's fine for you to believe that. I don't like it that much either, but I don't think it's atrocious. I feel like the stuff it was adapting was already pretty bad. This kind of made it worse in some aspects, kind of not in others. But they definitely made Roxy seem like a lot more manipulative and a lot worse than she did in the actual light novel. Felt like I felt actually bad for Roxy in the light novel. In this, I don't feel bad for Roxy at all. Uh, how does anime onlys feel about this episode? Yep, that's not my question to answer. My friend and I watched it in one stream and they said they enjoyed it. Okay. No, polyamory is more like an umbrella term with no exact definition. All right. I'm confused. Did you guys read the books? Because I did. Yeah. Or I read the light novel, from volumes 7 to 14, and afterwards I read the web novel. I think it was a fine episode. Yes, Horse and Believer. The director, this core was great. They captured all key moments except for this episode. I feel like the reunion with Paul was a bit mishandled, to say the least. I feel like this episode was mishandled a bit too. I feel like the reunion with Roxy, I feel like the freaking Roxy POV should have been placed before the rescue. I still feel that way, and in that sense, it was mishandled. But yeah, it's tough. The stream was probably half line novel reader and half other people hardcore weebs. Yep, true. I don't know. I think we should give it a chance. People hated when Roxy's experience in the dungeon wasn't animated, only to be added the next. That's why I'm a bit more hesitant, and I feel like they'll handle Rudius's situation a bit better in the next episode with him becoming a dad. But I feel like he was manipulated into this by Roxy, combination of Roxy and Ellen Elise. But that did come across in the light novel too, and I did have problems with that. So, um, I don't think this can be done like that. Yeah. Yep, that one was a miss. Like a doubt we'll get a tavern flashback. Yeah, I doubt it, but it's definitely possible. I mean, we saw it before. It was mishandled in the last time with the Roxy POV, so I can believe they'll do it here. I just ended this episode. You just finished the episode? Nice. Honestly, for me, it felt like Rufus's end goal was to have the harem of wives, and for Roxy, he had to twist and give excuses to why it would be okay for this to happen. Yeah, yeah, and it felt like a cop out. I felt like you didn't need this whole harem shit to happen. This episode left me cold. They skip for some scenes, but after all, this anime needed the simplify everything for a time limit. But the story is still understandable. Yeah. I mean, we can't complain too much. Time is limited in this episode was going to be controversial anyway. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Do you have to remember what world they live in, even as father is making enhance on him about having two wives? Yeah, I felt like that was like handled. I felt like Paul would have freaking handled the situation a lot better than Ellen Elise did, 100%. And he kind of got that across in the previous episode, but not really. Or sorry, not the previous episode. The episode before. Yeah, it's okay. You're not a really follower. Harem definitely needed to happen. No, it didn't. For what happens later, you can have other people fulfill that role, and they could also be friends in order for stuff like that to happen still. But yeah. This episode skips the OP for time, and in my opinion, the most crucial episode to handle, and could have skipped the ED2. Could have, but like again, it requires a lot more resources to fill in that time. So I don't blame them. They definitely could have handled this episode a lot better and know the harem is a canon event. Yeah, written by the writer. The writer decides what's a canon event and what's not. You don't need this shit to be a canon event. You don't need for certain things to happen. The writer is the ultimate decider in all of this. And I feel like the writer making this a harem anime is a freaking cop out. You don't need that. You don't need it to be a canon event. You don't need Rudius to have sex and marry Roxy in order to get over this whole deal. You don't need that. You don't need any of that. You don't need for their offspring to be super powerful or whatever. You don't need that. You could write it in a different way. Whatever. Freaking tries to trying to freaking justify this writing decision because of future events with future events in the story is not a good explanation. I like the harem in the story, considering all the lives played a huge part in Rudy's life. Selfie was Rudy's first friend, and Roxy was the one who helped Rudy with touching grass. Yeah, but again, you can have them be friends. It's not whatever. It's a cop out in my opinion. It's really a cop out. It's not too important later, but damn it, this episode makes it glaringly apparent that like you gotta jump through hoops in order for this shit to happen. And it sucks. I don't feel like it was handled that well in either the light novel or the anime. The harem was probably just a fetish from Refugian, but in terms of the story, harem is crucial. No, it isn't. That doesn't seem likely, to be honest. I mean, the writer's favorite is Roxy, and he was going to write a power fantasy harem isekai. Fucking hell, dude. Of course he was. I mean, he's friends with the monster writer, right? Like, and he likes his work. That's tough. uh, by that logic, anything you personally don't like and doesn't need to happen. That's how interpreting stories work. Okay. I feel like Rudy didn't really get over the hump of marrying multiple wives that easily, or like shouldn't have gone over the hump that easily. I feel like handling this whole situation with Roxy, forcing this marriage upon him, felt like a cop out, and you wanted to appease freaking yourself, one, because he's a Roxy simp, and two, you want to appeal the self insert crowd, which is not what's supposed to happen. I get it. The things are. I feel like the story would be a lot more interesting if Rudy ultimately decided no to this whole deal, and it would be a lot more interesting to see the dynamic with Roxy and Rudius be fleshed out a bit more as a result of this. But that's just me. Uh, it's a canon event. Miguel, what the fuck? Spoilers later. Okay, I'm not gonna read the spoilers. But is it really a better story? Me personally, I do not approve this relationship. If you know, you know. I wonder why fucking you got me true. Yes, it's over. Okay. I'm gonna skip a few comments. At the end, it's a writer's wish. True, it is, but I don't like the decision, so whatever. Author wanted a harem from the beginning. Yeah, of course he fucking did. Catch them all. Make a family bigger. Yep, gotta catch them all. Pokemon. The freaking comparisons between Pokemon shine ever brighter with this freaking episode. Really hated the whole sex would make you feel better. It's your job as a woman to comfort the man this way, and that was a bit weird. Him feeling better after like having sex with Roxy. Like he should probably feel guilty immediately after, but whatever. That didn't really come across in the anime. I don't remember 100% if that came across in the light novel, but whatever. I thought the only reason the author did the harem was because he couldn't decide which girl for Rudius to end up with. And as a result, it's a cop-out. If what you say is true, that is a cop-out and a half. Oh my gosh. Why should he feel guilty after having sex? Because he's married to someone. He literally cheated on someone. Why should he feel guilty? He's cheating. What the fuck? He felt guilty like a day later. He felt guilty a day later. He's like, yeah, sorry, I don't think this can work out. Like, we saw a hint of guilt later. What the fuck? Why does he not feel why should he feel guilty, bro? Are you serious? My guy. There's a lot of messages here that I'm not seeing right now. Holy shit. There's a lot that I'm missing here. Okay. But since episode 22 and after 23, nobody's talking about dropping it. Anime. Nobody talked about dropping it. Yeah. In the novel, he says he feels better, but also feels guilty. Okay, cool. I think Roxy is the most crucial to the story. The other two are not as crucial. Eris being the least of which. Okay. It's not like he was in his right mind. His dad is dead, and because he was, yes, but if he felt better after having sex, then like, shouldn't he feel guilty of cheating after the fact? If he truly felt better, like, whatever. This is really weird. Before it was what the fuck? That was a loud noise. Before it was maybe I dropped it after turning point 3. Most of the time it was done well. Other times it's imperfect, like this particular moment. Oh yeah, you guys are young. Cheating, men don't cheat. Men having sex with other women is not cheating. Only when men, just, what the fuck. Okay. I genuinely forgot about Eris for a hot minute. True. Everyone should forget about Eris. I feel like narratively, Selfie was the best person for him. In fact, I think him being with her and getting over Eris gave him so much development. I also think that made him a better man and character. True. I feel like his romance with Selfie was way better. Way better. Way better for character development and in terms of writing quality. I feel like it was significantly better. But whatever. We have gotten through that point, right? Is it cheating if Selfie allowed it? We don't even know. We don't even know right now. Is it cheating? Yes, it is. Right now, yes, it is. Oh my gosh. You better be freaking like capping right now, dude. You better be joking right now. Holy shit. This is what happens. This is what happens when you go brain rot. This is isekai. This is an isekai, so having multiple wives isn't something uncommon here. We have to acknowledge that our value and their values are different. Oh my gosh, this is cheating, and Rudy just knows it, but ultimately already happened. Nothing can be done. Just move forward and do it better in the future. Oh my gosh. Bro, Selfie is the reason Rudy has got this harem. Yeah, no. No. Who proposed? Tell me who proposed. Tell me who proposed. It wasn't Selfie. It wasn't Selfie. Who proposed? Scared for next episode would be fine. Next episode would be fine. I'm not worried about next episode. Who proposed, bro? Who proposed? Wasn't Selfie okay with him sleeping with that dog and cat girl? No. Uh we're not getting into that freaking scenario, bro. Bro, why they gave I know you're correct on that, but we're not going to go into that situation any further for the sake of anime onlys. Bro, why they give Elnalise the after the Lilia incident did Zenith look miserable when that's Sylphie's line? I don't even know what you're talking about there. Episode 23, different story from light novel. Whatever. It's fine if stuff's different. It's not even about this is an isekai. The value and culture is different. Your view on relationships is fixed. It's more looking at how bad it is from a writing perspective. It's not insanely awful, but like, well, like this is but the fact that him being in a harem in terms of writing isn't awful, but it definitely forced him to make some bad writing decisions. I it doesn't make me like Roxy all that much. Where the fuck am I in this chat? Now I'm not trying to defend him, but Roxy kind of gave him the okay to have kind of as if she couldn't get pregnant. That's if she couldn't get pregnant, and also we don't even. This whole thing was he already had a kid. Doesn't know that he's gonna be adventuring with like. I assume she probably guessed that she was gonna have. He was gonna have like a freaking be adventuring with like another girl that he's probably interested in, but he did not permit him to have sex with anybody, including Annalise. So why the fuck would that be? Jeez. Well, in reality, you can't cheat because girls don't have to have the other girl in their, whatever. Since society is just too immature on human nature, we really try to socially disengineer human nature. Whatever. Oh my gosh. Human nature fucking human nature sometimes doesn't align with good morals, right? Human nature isn't really like that, you know? It's human nature to do some really fucked up shit, Doesn't mean you should do it. Oh, yes, human nature. We have to bend our whims to human nature. Fucking stupid ass argument. Uh I'm actually speechless, true. If you're only cheating if you go broke, if you're sleeping with multiple women because okay, this is trolling 100%. You need to take care of someone if you have in your house, that's cheating. This live chat is wild, true, but it's fun to read. Jeez, I need to see. Let's look at Reddit. Actually, let's look at Reddit. Fucking hell, can I not spell Reddit? Damn, I'm so rattled right now. Let's look at this Reddit here. Let's go look at the episode 23 discussion here. Mixed feelings about this episode. Not gonna lie, I feel like they cooked the last episode. They dropped the ball hard on this one. Let's see here. Yeah, let's look here. Feel like skipped almost half of chapter 1, removed the Rudy internal monologue, rewrote a lot of scenes as well. The Prego jump scare part during Emily's conversation is also gone. I guess they rewrite stuff to save Rudy from being canceled and shifted it on Roxy instead. Actually, in fact, both of them are probably gonna get canceled now. Lol. I mean, Rudius was the one who proposed, right? Rudius was the one who ultimately decided that. Counting on the diary part of Mushoku to save. Jeez. It'll be fine. Like the stuff before then too is great. Like I don't think they'll ever fuck that up. Um Also characters aren't perfect. Even Roxy is a normal girl and she can make mistakes. Rudy was also just a childless virgin and still immature. You'd hope that he'd get over that after marrying Selfie, you know. You'd hope. You'd hope. But no, he's still fucking cringe sometimes. Again, I was able to stomach this and get through the rest of the show. So don't freaking like get on me for like calling out for Rudy's being canceled. It's an interesting storyline, but I think it was mishandled and could have been more interesting in the anime or light novel. Could have been more interesting. Rewatch the episode. Apart from all the stuff already mentioned, they actually did a great job animating the Roxy confession and proposal. Was shocked when Roxy is knocking on his door early in the episode. For a moment, I thought they were just going to retcon Roxy knowing about Rudy's marital status. It would have been better if she didn't know, wouldn't it? It actually would have been better. It actually would have been better, honestly. Because Rudy would be so out of it to make a strong decision on this. And then have him being like very like guilty about it after would be better. Look at that, dude. My hair's greasy as fuck, dude. It's actually staying up. Nice. uh Dude, the sweat is real right now. Uh just a question. Do you have anything spoiled or anything spoiled or not? I read the novels, so yes. This is not a spoiler stream though. At least I hope. Chat, be nice to anime onlys. Don't spoil. Find a girl and have a reason. You should have another girl. Haha. Roxy supremacy. Jeez. Reese needed the full attention of three women to help him survive through his life. Jeez. This episode was going to be controversial, but damn, they could have done better. I'm kind of curious, how would you fix the story to make it more interesting? Okay, I feel like it would be more interesting if ultimately Rudy decided not to marry Roxy for at least a bit and just see how she would feel about that. Like have it stress on that and like have I feel like it would be more interesting to see like if Rudy decided not to marry Roxy and have Sylphie intervene, and then that whole thing, and then the whole polygamy stuff would happen as a result of Sylphie joining in. I feel like that would be more interesting. But I don't know. I feel like it could have been handled better in the anime. I felt like it could have been handled better in the light novel. I feel like this is sort of a cop out, and I feel like it makes certain characters a bit questionable. When you think about it, Rudy's actually a hypocrite because he got on Paul when he was a kid for cheating on Zenith. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, but oh no, being a hypocrite's like the most damning thing in the world, and no one's ever been a hypocrite before. Bro, chill. Being a hypocrite makes things interesting, at least. Um, it makes things. Be having a character be a goody two shoes isn't like super interesting, to say the least. Rudius Eris coming on to me after finding out her parents died. Let's calm down. I don't want to take advantage of her state. Roxy, dad died, mom vegetable. Game is game. Jeez, that's so true. Damn it, bro. Let him cook. So you're only comfortable with a girl wanting to add a part. I feel like if he was flat out refused the proposal, refused the marriage in the beginning because of Selfie, instead of holding off and waiting for Selfie's decision, I feel like him rejecting it with Selfie's feelings in mind, and then Selfie coming in and saying, hey, no, if you feel like you want to, go do it. That is a lot more like understandable and a lot more. You have a lot less guilty parties in mind when it comes to that. I don't think Rudy was a hypocrite for getting on Paul. I think Rudy was getting on Paul for getting caught. No, he wasn't even caught. It was because Lillian was pregnant that he got caught. I don't think that was the reason. The world of Mushoku Tensei being faithful is only suggestion. Yeah, true. The issue Rudy had with Paul has nothing to do with him being with multiple women. It's him getting caught in the fall of it. Bro, what is up with that? Rudy admitted he was being a hypocrite after calling Paul a scumbag. That's a wild take. True. That is a wild take. Brother, this chat is something else. True. The reason of the lesson of the day is embrace your inner scumbag. True. I am not just a scumbag. I am your scumbag, as MJF would say. That's just I am your scumbag. This wasn't it, Chief. I don't know. I do not know if it's the director, the storyboard, or team, or Refugent himself. But the fact they changed it's not the fact they changed the scenes, it's the fact that they freaking didn't deliver on the same themes, whatever. I'll continue. The fact that they changed the scenes where Roxy finds out Reese is married completely changes the subsequent scene and robs it from a lot of its emotionality. Okay. I'm going to ignore chat for now. And it also takes away from how Rudy's feelings change from admiration to love towards Roxy. It feels too rushed now, while the light novel really took its time to change their dynamic. Yeah, I mean, it still felt rushed in the light novel. I'm ignoring chat for now. Joe Hendry. Yes, Joe Hendry. Okay, hold up. I need to show you guys Joe Hendry. Hold up. I need to show you guys Joe Hendry. Joe Hendry is the best. He is 100% the best. My headphones are out and I need to show Joe Hendry. Give me a second. This is hilarious. All right, here we go.
Say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry. I believe in Joe Hendry. Cause you love him.
So stupid. Dude, this is Rudy starting the entire this is Elnally starting the entire interaction with Rudius and Roxy. Just clapping. I believe in Joe Hendry. Fucking hell. Anyway, I don't want to bring up wrestling too much right now. We're still reading this. Oh man, this did the same thing with Selfie scene where she shows up already dressed, and it took away from a lot of the emotion of Rudy finding her next to his bed. They also took out the. I feel like this wasn't that bad. I feel like their interaction was handled perfectly. I feel like their interaction with them like having. I feel like their sex scene was handled brilliantly. I feel and the after and the scene that happened after was an anime original and it was brilliant too. I loved that scene so much. I talked about it in the freaking Selfie's best girl video. I already said my piece on that. Uh they also took out the fact that Rudy is under the impression that Roxy is pregnant, which also completely changes his motivations and makes the intensity of this fight with Norn completely meaningless. This change reminds me of when they changed it to so that was fully aware that Rudy did remember her in the first part of the season. Uh, it's little changes like this that makes me think someone in the production team just isn't all there. I do not know who is it that doesn't understand the emotions these scenes are supposed to convey, but it feels like they are purposefully ignoring that it, given the fact that the manga gave us better visual adaptation of these kinds of moments. True, there are some scenes in the manga that are handled better. I admit that 100%. Seems like my chat on Streamlabs is like stalled a bit. Let me put it on here. Okay. Um, the visual cues in the visual cues like the team carrying back the loot from the labyrinth, which is sort of important for the story, were ignored, even though they would have taken no additional screen time and only minor in design changes. Overall, I'm very disappointed with the general direction the season took for these scenes. It just feels like someone in charge that didn't understand these scenes and didn't take the time to do so. I agree with most of this take. There are some like I feel like his complaints with the selfie scenes. I feel like the same emotions were still conveyed. I don't feel like there's anything really missing there. Uh, you think the Mills religion faction is supposed to represent like normal world's view and perspective? I think it is. I think it is supposed to represent it, like the monotheistic, Christian typical worldview. I feel like that's what the Mills belief or religion is supposed to represent in Mushoku Tensei. And it's supposed to like ground situations like this in reality. Uh, in sort of like their belief system, and like it should like it stuff like the our like current main worldview, like the most popular worldview in our world is like should be represented there in some way, and I feel like Millis follows that line of thinking. Uh, I'm so mixed on the manga. They don't even explain how he got the money to buy the house he bought in the first part of the I think it's pretty damn clear that he got a lot of money from adventuring. It's clear when creating the show they're not focusing on the financial thought. You're trolling. Okay. Fucking hell, dude. You're so trolling. Why would that be important? In the book, it's actually pointed out that what type of financial he's in multiple times, even in season 1. Oh my gosh, bro. Uh, dude's trolling. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. Oh, that's funny. Uh, Uncle Zictor has been neglecting this thread, but no more. That's what is masterfully done. I think there's some great choices. First, I really recommend my text about how does the decisions to cut stuff seem to be working here. I've seen this before. I do not want to read it again. Uh, I think they're going to remove pregnancy as a motivator to make his genuine feeling. It's okay. It's not about cutting scenes out. It's about the fact that certain characters feel a lot more questionable as a result of the changes. You can change things, that's fine, but you shouldn't make characters feel morally questionable when they initially weren't meant to be that way. and his initial goal was to make it more acceptable. It's not working out, Chief. It's not. It's just not. I feel like they're going to remove the pregnancy as a motivator to make his genuine feelings as a key factor for the decisions he's taken. I already know the YouTube reactors I watched are gonna shit on this episode. At least they were treated the last. Okay, I disagree hardly with that. Okay, here is my take with a lot of freaking YouTube reactors. Okay, especially like the hardcore Mushoku Tensei fans. A lot of them praise the show, and I hardly see any of these main YouTube reactors complain about certain aspects of the show. Instead, they describe it as interesting. There's no real hard like critiques. It's like, yeah, I don't vibe with that, or I don't think that's a good writing decision. I don't feel like this is gonna be hardly criticized at all, and I feel like it's gonna be it's gonna bring out like a lot of people are gonna say like, hey man, like this is very interesting. It adds a lot of depth to this person's character. I'm like, yeah, it does, but like this is still a stupid writing decision. You can make it a lot more interesting, number one, as I pitched before, and number two, like it makes people seem like assholes. Like to the point where like I just can't forgive them for certain stuff like this. I'll forget about it eventually, but then I'll be harking back. It's like with Aisha in the light novel and Redundancy, if you guys know what I mean. It's not nearly to the same extent, but I will not forget about it. It's like if you had scenes like that and you translate them and you depict them in that way where it makes Roxy seem like a manipulator, you really start to feel like, damn, I can't really vibe with this character anymore. And then you might forget about it eventually, but then you're harking back to that, and it's like, damn, fucking shit. Anyway, the Aisha comparison is like really like the best comparison I can give. Aisha was pretty hard. Yeah, it's not the same. It's not to the same extent, but it's like pretty bad. Let's look here. The first thing to keep in mind is that anime chose to focus on Rudius's point of view, so things that happen outside of his knowledge are only shown if absolutely necessary. Yeah, but also like it's kind of important. Also, I feel like they should kind of change how it was originally done. I think it would have been better if Roxy didn't know about the marriage beforehand. Felt like it would have been better. And if like Ellen Elise was like, I just let her because I felt like it would have been better for you. And I didn't let her know about your marriage because it felt like it would have been better for you to help you recover. Felt like that would have been a lot better of a writing decision to not have her realize that Rudius is already married. But whatever. So they skipped the discussions of everyone trying to convince Roxy, and people are informed about that those decisions happened afterwards with their conversation by the fire. Well, you should also keep in mind that the light novel is also supposed to be told from Rudius's perspective, because that's how they start. That's why they start with Rudius's birth and they end with Rudius's death. Spoiler alert. I mean, it's kind of like a flash forward sort of deal, but whatever. It's nothing that crazy. It's very obvious that it's supposed to be written from Rudius's perspective, but they still include scenes like this. So is it important enough? Yeah, it's important enough, but whatever. You don't have to include this scene. You don't have to. In fact, I recommend you change it because it's still a fucking weird choice. The the pregnancy scared was also removed because Rudy decides to stay with her even after they discover she isn't pregnant. So it's also unnecessary. Yeah, okay. Remember that every frame costs money. And they have a seasonal model to follow. And they still have a lot of ground to cover in the next episode in an Eris OVA. It's not even like guaranteed that there will be an Eris OVA, but whatever. Which is probably they've adopted the show don't tell approach. Bro, like it's having the conversation with Roxy after they have sex about the what if scenario helps him cope. It helps him. It helps him, and him coping by himself doesn't really make it believable in that sense. It doesn't emphasize that. It doesn't make it believable that he actually recovered from this whole situation. It looks like he recovered from the proposal, which shouldn't be the case. Or at least, I don't think it should be. Maybe that was a writing choice that they wanted to change that. And in that case, I don't think it's a good decision, but whatever. Again, I told you what I think could have been done better. I feel like it really rushed and skipped a lot of content, kind of cheapened the experience. Meh. Why the F my boy Dillo have a very short screen time? Yeah. When he's full F1 status, he'll shine in his glory. Jeez. Okay. Let me read chat here. I could never vibe with Aisha ever since I found out that but they didn't do that in the first season. The first season they were showing other events from other characters' perspectives. Yeah, they definitely were. But and same thing with season 2. They do it if it's quote unquote important enough. But like scenes like that, I don't even think you need to include this scene, but if you really need to, you include it. I don't think it's necessary. I don't think it's very much necessary because like again, like Roxy said, like I was convinced by other people to help you or whatever, and I was told that you're already married by Annalise and the others. Great. You were told that. That got the message across and makes me question Roxy a lot more. I appreciate the writer's decision for seemingly giving Roxy more initiative. She's a grown-ass woman. She deserves to have some urges. Not your typical lolly guys. I mean, I think it would have shown her more initiative if people didn't really talk her into having sex with Rudius and she just never knew about the marriage at all. That would have been more interesting and would have shown her more initiative and actually would have had her character like be a lot more understandable and a lot less manipulative. Kind of still manipulative, but not really. But they did handle. They showed the scene in the thumbnail there, but they do handle that a bit pretty well with this scene. I took advantage of you when you were down. Yes, but then like the sort of feel sorry for me moment that Ellen and Elise give paired with that makes it seem a lot more questionable. It's weird. A lot of the blame's going to be put on Ellen and Elise. 100%. Roxy even got the whole episode to herself in season 1. It wasn't a whole episode, it was like half an episode. But yeah, a decent chunk. I don't think he's forgotten about Paul. Paul comes up a lot in the story. I think you're just expecting him to have a breakdown. What we didn't have in the book, if I remember correctly. Yeah. They watered this down quite a bit. The fact that Roxy is the aggressor is different. I'm pretty sure, in the novel, but that kind of doesn't matter. And I like that it paints him as getting taken advantage of by being under her despite the size difference. One thing they cut for manga knows why after the sex talk where he basically tells her that he's reincarnated without actually saying it, but come on, that's such a good moment in the book. True, it was a great moment in the book. And Annalise is supposed to tell him that Roxy is pregnant, right? Kind of pushes him to take responsibility, just like Paul. That being said, I like the anime original flashback, like Lee's saying. Was Zena's miserable after Paul took Lilia as a second wife, and Rudy touching his sword, saying that. What? Okay, yeah, someone said this earlier in the chat. Overall, 7 to 8 out of 10 for me. The moment was such an important one, and I think the emotions got presented well, but the moments that make this great and divisive were cut for some reason. Yeah, a bit. I think it's still plenty divisive, and I feel like it kind of made it more divisive, as I said earlier, in certain aspects. Damn, I've been streaming for like 2 hours. Damn. Is there anything else I want to go over? Yeah, this sucks. Roxy's dead. Roxy's dead, guys. Remember that. Remember that moment in the beginning of the stream, okay? Because that's how I feel about Roxy now, right? 100%? Yeah, we'll stick with that. At least there's one win that comes out of this. The Selfie stimps will stay loyal because Roxy wasn't written as well as she normally was. So you guys won't be swayed all that easily. That's good. That's good at least. So yeah, with all that said, I think I'm gonna end the stream here. Believe in Joe Hendry. And good night. It's just the start of the morning for me. Do you have a Selfie figurine though? No, I don't. And there's no Selfie figurines out. But anyway, let's actually check here. Let's check this live. I'll do it live. Ami, do we have a Selfie figurine? No, instead we get another Roxy figurine, guys. Another one. That's great, guys. That's so cool. Oh my gosh. As if we don't have enough. I am so happy. Holy shit. Like, look at this shit, bro. Like, look at this shit. Let me fucking search this. Let's look this up. Figure categories. All right, let's look at all this. Okay, so we got so let's zoom in here. Lolly horny, cringe. Freaking Eris. Okay, fine. Weird Roxy figure. Okay, fine. Horny lolly figure, cringe. Horny lolly figure, cringe. Cool Roxy figure, cool. Roxy, cool. Eris, cool. Cool. Cheap Mushoku Tensei figure, finally. Horny lolly character, great. No. Oh my gosh. Decent Roxy figure. Another horny. Fucking hell, dude. Selfie. It's the only Selfie one we're gonna get, and it's a kid version. That's not what I want. Roxy, okay. Roxy. Eris. Holy shit. Next. Do we have anything? Young Selfie, great. Roxy, Eris, and the repeats from last page. Fucking hell. I cannot believe how some of these figures are legal. True. It's Japan. It's Japan, that's why. But how are you able to buy this in freaking the US? I don't know, bro. Whatever. Art. It's art, okay? Don't freaking worry about it. I don't know. It's so fucking cringe that like some of this stuff it's like willingly like thrown into the US market, but whatever. Like almost all of these figures you could buy on Crunchyroll, which is questionable. It's like them It's them putting up front and center Remonster in their homepage as the first anime they recommend. Like, look at this shit. Like they put Mushoku Tensei in the last page. In the last page. Like, you have to wait to scroll all the way over here for them to finally advertise Mushoku Tensei. But when Remonster was airing new episodes, it was front and center, the first thing to show. And guess what? If you go by popular, guess what's above Mushoku Tensei, guys? Why the fuck would you advertise Remonster more than Mushoku Tensei? The fuck is Remonster? It's a very questionable show. This is still relatively normal. Oh my gosh. Ah, man. Don't worry, we have the only figures I will get are the cute plushies like the cotton candy baggy dolls. Did Japan not give a fuck about figure or future Selfie? No. They still don't give a fuck because they're still releasing new figures for Roxy. Fucking hell. Let's keep it at that. Crunchyroll's a joke. True. I think Refugian mentioned on how he's after seeing Remonster, he realized his show will have problems getting reception from viewers. Lol. I think I saw that interview before, where someone interviewed both him and the Remonster writer. They liked each other's work, and I was like, okay. And like the thing that the Remonster writer recommended to people watching the anime was like, oh, appreciate the eating scenes. The fuck kind of priorities are those? Whatever, dude. It's like you're not gonna tell people like appreciate the freaking like power fantasy or not the power fantasy, but like the how powerful he becomes over time and like how everyone's redesigned and everything like that. He instead focus on the eating scenes because that's a core part of Remonster. What the fuck is wrong with you? Anyway, Crunchyroll execs are absolute pussies. No, they're not, because they were willing to put Remonster in the first row and recommend this to their freaking first time viewers. What the fuck is that recommendation? Why would you recommend a show like Remonster? Why? It's so weird. In conclusion, episode 23 is not about the message, but how you deliver it. Yeah, kinda. Like, they know how America-centric public view is like, so they pander to it. It's like recommending redo of Healer. What? Because it's not an honest conversation. It's not a threat. Okay. Well, remember the last year's Crunchyroll Awards? Are they just crazy? Yeah, because they're crazy enough to put freaking I believe they put two songs from Jujutsu Kaisen and like OP of the year. Yet for ED of the year, they only put one Chainsaw Man ED, even though the rest of the Chainsaw Man EDs were way better than anything else had to compete for in the freaking anime awards. But whatever. And not to mention not even nominating Eminence in Shadow for best comedy is fucking atrocious. That is greedy. I know that it's a high dive, and you're gonna put Oshinoko in the anime awards, but it's like, bro, what the fuck? Wait, was Oshinoko last year? Yeah, it was, and it was nominated for a lot. Yeah, I think. Yes, it was. I look at Gigux to get my anime of the year. Honestly, Gigux is like he's like biased in a lot of sense, but yeah, his takes are a lot better than Crunchyroll's 100%. Um, I think everyone's biased, honestly, but like I try to skirt by every now and then. He kind of plays into it, and it's kind of funny. So yeah, he kind of plays into the isekai biases, which is a bit funny. So yeah. As if I don't. Bunch is like, who paid me more anime awards? Jeez. Rudy Monster has lots of questionable things. Honestly, in my opinion, worse than Review of Healer because it's played as normal. Yeah. Yeah. Review of Healer, you're supposed to hate the freaking guy, hate the main protagonist. Rudy Monster, you're supposed to like him. You're supposed to find him relatable. What the fuck? Any updates on the resin printer? Still trying to clear out the garage for space. I'm upset about it, but I try not to piss other people off because of it. Yeah. I'm probably gonna buy the Ultra as a result of me waiting for this long. The Saturn 4 Ultra as a result of me waiting for this long. Because I've been saving up for even more time than I expected, so yeah. JJK winning too much awards was quite annoying. Yes, I like JJK, but it shouldn't win anything. True. Shouldn't win everything. Yeah. Thoughts on latest chapters of Chainsaw Man? Oh yeah. Chainsaw Man latest chapters pretty damn good. I enjoy it. I enjoy it a decent bit. That's what I'll say. I think this part 2 has been really good so far. Not nearly as peak as part 1, but pretty good. I might get killed for this, but JJK's mid. I don't think you'll get killed for that. Another shonen with great animation. I think season 2 was really good. A lot better than. I feel like the prime example of what you're saying is Demon Slayer. And Demon Slayer is a lot worse. So yeah. Anyway, with that, I might stream later tonight. I don't know. But yeah, I might need to make a video on this. I might need to make a video on this latest episode. It's tough. This episode's very tough. But I'll actually need to like write a script or something about it. But anyway. You have a DC? What is a DC? What is a DC? Answer me that. Hodo the goat for real. Yeah, he is. Discord. I don't have a Discord for this channel, but I do have a personal Discord account, and I do not like to connect that. I might make a Discord server. Might. I have a feeling I'll be stuck on there more often than streaming on YouTube, which will kind of be bad, but whatever. But yeah. Does there an area have to Does your area have to make space? There are 2 places near me. You can rent one to use. Wood tools, machine tools, sewing machines, and 3D prints. I want to be able to print stuff whenever I want and not pay excess money to rent. I prefer owning things and having the ability to do things myself. But and also content. It's also better content. Well, we should not make conclusions after the next episode. Yeah, I think holding off on making a video till next episode finishes is probably best. And also, I have a lot more time in the week of like July 4th to make a video on this. So I feel like, yeah, what you say is probably true. Probably holding off is probably the best move. I mean, thankfully I didn't make a video ranting about no Roxy POV in a video. I made it for a preview video, which isn't like insane. So yeah, it's probably better. I think just like as a result, I'll probably just stream later today and like go over other shows I watched this season and just give my thoughts on those and maybe like upload like cutouts of the VODs. Maybe I might do that later. I just go to my local community college and use their printer and pretend like I'm still a student there. Lol. I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm gonna be a graduate student soon, so I could probably do that for my new school, but I prefer to own things. Don't season 2. Nah, just finish season 2. Give me season 3. True. Uh, just here's some more Joe Hendry.
Cause you love 'em in London and Paris and Tokyo.
There you go. All right, and with that, we're done. I'm done with season 2. Now give me season 3. Yep, that's where peak starts. True. All right. I'm done. On my stream later tonight. It might be just an impulse stream, so yeah. See you guys later.